The United States is the strongest government in the world. We have the best military in the world. We have the best intelligence in the world. If you put our intelligence capabilities together with our allies and really determine who our allies are, there is no doubt we have the capability to stop this and end it.
When the U.S. speaks, the world listens. Even if it's an enemy of the United States, like a North Korea, the world has to pay attention. We, I think, have a very important role. We finance, we do so much foreign funding, billions of dollars a year is going out from the United States to these countries. And that's why I think we have to make decisions ultimately very soon in the future. How much are we going to let these countries get away with persecuting people before we say we're going to cut your funding off?
You know, many governments are self-conscious about their human rights records. Not all, but many are. And that's important to use that spotlight, shining the spotlight to show the injustice of these governments.
But then you ask a question. So who are our allies? Turkey's a member of NATO. Yet the greatest funnel for people leaving Europe to join with ISIS, they flow right through Turkey.
I think the U.S. government can play a very important role with these cases in Pakistan because Pakistan and the United States are allies. We all know that money has strings attached, so maybe let's put another string to it and say, let's release these people who are falsely accused of the blasphemy cases, and they're spending their lives in prison. So I think it's important that the U.S. government brings up these issues with the Pakistani government.
We give billions of dollars of aid to Pakistan. Turkey is a NATO partner. But what are we getting in return for this? Nothing. Let's start exercising the power of the purse. This is the perfect time for the United States to put conditions, human right conditions, on our aid. If you support terror, if you give a safe haven to terror, if you are aiding and abetting a terrorist, you don't get U.S. aid, period.
Our founders intentionally set this government up to have stress between the branches. We at the ACLJ use that stress to our advantage. The executive branch often does not want to engage these cases of religious persecution. The legislative branch, because they're closer to the people, are often more inclined to engage them. Therefore, we often leverage the legislative branch to force the executive branch to action.
Well, there are political actions we can take, and one is using the bully pulpit. Our president, our Secretary of State should be raising these cases every time they have an opportunity.
In order to make a difference in some cases, we need people who are free from religious persecution to advocate for those who are not. And this is why the tie between America and the rest of the world is so important. We live under the protections of the First Amendment. Those who don't, those who are persecuted for their faith, need someone to stand in the gap for them. At the ACLJ, one of the main things that we do is give our members an opportunity to advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves.
Well, one of the things that we do consistently is make sure that our elected officials know exactly where we stand as American citizens on these issues. You know, the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, everybody quotes the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and that's all in there. But there's also a provision in the First Amendment that says you're allowed to petition the government for a redress of a grievance.
What I think is the most effective advocacy when it comes to our grassroots support, and that's the petition. That's getting people, so we can say 300,000 people in a week care about this issue, have spoken out, and we take that information. It's not just a bunch of signatures online or by phone that you call. We really do take that to members of Congress, to government officials around the world, and we lay it out for, okay, this is how many people care about this. This is how many people in your congressional district or your state care about this.
One of the beautiful things about the American way of government is that it is specifically designed to be responsive to the people. When the ACLJ is able to build a petition of hundreds of thousands of names, it inspires action from Congress, especially when we can show each individual member who on that petition actually has an opportunity to vote for them.
Keeping Saeed Abedini alive is a big part of the strategy right now. We've heard from over 600,000 people from around the globe, and we let lawmakers around the globe know that.